when something happens with you or somebody. What is that thing in our life that we want to find that? It's not my fault. It's not me. True. But then, I was in a worse position. While growing up, I watched my parents have a beautiful life. But then I realized my mom was not so happy. She kind of wished my dad was, let me say, a little bit perfect. You know why? Because most times, the things that plague us, is this. We are never enough. Can you see me? Can you see this? Some of us, we're not good enough. We're not satisfied. Someone says satisfied. Enough. We are not perfect. Enough. As a matter of fact, we are not extraordinary. Enough. I had a very fascinating experience when I was speaking with Widan, who they said that she said we should introduce ourselves to people. I'm quite shy, but she pinched me and she said, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm not Widan." I'm like, "Who are you too?" And I said, "I'm Widan." And I asked a couple of questions, and I said, "Why not doing this, this, and this?" And she said to me, "You know, that's not what I want to do. That's not my thing." I was excited about it because people want to be that thing I was asking her to be. But she said, "I don't want to be that thing because people want to be extraordinary." But we all don't need to be extraordinary. Mm-hmm. Yesterday I had a fascinating time with my family. I stayed at home all day. Me, home, morning, night, breakfast, lunch, dinner, carry the baby, cry, change nappy, bath, lamide in the house. At night when I had the afternoon nap, my wife came to me and she said, "I think you're bored already. What can we do to spice up this?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I'm just..." That's because she couldn't even trust to see me at home. That was an ordinary day. But we beat ourselves up because we are not extraordinary enough. My mom beat herself up because her husband was not extraordinary enough. He was just a common engineer who became a pastor. I didn't even like it. I still don't like it. And then we became pastors' kids. And so the first day I posted, I was in trouble. I couldn't even tell anyone about it. That was the kind of family we had. And my mom was like, you know, you do that to your children, you know what I'm saying? My mom was like, you just have to hold on to this. And then the time came when it became so bad. And she came to me one day, I'm the first and only son. And you know how it is between a mother and a son. I didn't quite understand this until I got a son. And I can see the bond between my son and my mother, my wife. And I can't believe it. I'm like, is this me? And then she said to me, "I think if I had married that man that was taking me to the US, maybe things would have been better." And I looked at her like, "But where would I come from? I thought it was sperm and I was giving some biology." And she said, "Well, God will find a way to bring you here." But... And I said to myself, "Oh, I don't want to have this kind of experience." I was scared. What was I afraid of? A broken home. I was so scared of it, I never had a girlfriend. Never. I ran. Look, before I was tall, dark and handsome, not now. That time. No, I looked good. No. I give that to myself. I was intelligent, I was smart, I was in politics, I was religious. When I say religious, I mean highly religious. Tongue speaking, demon casting. You know those things? They brainwash. No, I'm sorry, they didn't brainwash. But you know, now, man, oh goodness, that was where I was. And so the ladies were there, but I didn't even see because I was afraid of what? This is what I was scared of. I was scared of this, my heart. Oh, I never wanted this heart to be broken. Never. So I shielded up, I armored up. Each and every day, I was armored up. No one could get to me. No one. Not living. I'm serious. You can't. I shielded myself from from hurts. I shielded myself from pain. I shielded myself from disappointment. I shielded myself from worrying about somebody. One day, a guy was staying with me and he said, Namdi, I noticed that no one calls you in the morning. You don't say goodnight to anyone at night. You're not lovey-dovey with anybody. It's like you're just existing. And I said, this is the best way to live. I don't want to have a broken heart. I don't want to get to that point where somebody is wishing she admires somebody who went to Kenya. Moreover, I don't think I'm good enough. Hey, I didn't come from a rich background. I studied fisheries and fish. Fisheries and wildlife. Madam. and guess what? At the time I was graduating, there was no point and kill. So when I left Akure and I came here to Abuja and I was working around, I went to get a job and I worked there and the man stood at me and said, hey, you want to work here? I said, yes. I said, what did you study again? And I said, I studied fisheries and wildlife. He said, and so he looked at there was a white woman sitting there, and she looked at her and the woman looked at me and she said, I'm sorry, do people go to the university? And I looked at her and I said, what I did for 5 years. Wow. 5. Not 4. Wow. 5 years. Professional course. And the man looked at me and said, there's no fish here. He said, what's the other course? Like, it's wildlife. He said, wait. They're not lions, but they're not dogs. Now, that's the kind of self-esteem I had built. A man who could not sustain a job. Now he wants to give my heart to somebody. A man who came from a home where my father, as he told me today, he couldn't afford to get me a glass. But my eyes went back. I asked him, and he said, no, I'm not going to do it. You should pray. 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 Why? He said, I should pray. I'm not saying prayer. Prayers work. But, so there are some things you do. You bite. And you refuse. Till date, I still tell him, you didn't buy me a glass. I should have met your mom. Is she better or worse? They're on the same level. I'm telling you stories because I want you to be able to relate. How many of you are relating? They're relating to some stuff that happened, yes? It happened. And so, don't ask me to give these hearts to somebody. I am married to Jesus. Everybody was the devil. Jesus was the only one. And he's not here. Sorry, he's here. It was bad. And then I was in church one day and there was a deliverance session and the man came to deliver me. You know that time where some of you are looking very hard and stone-hearted and they look at you and they just know because they're not following that anointing, you're a special case. Brother, they come up. So I was experiencing. And so I came forward and then he did all these things and everything. And then I fell under the anointing. No, bro, no. Guess what? Honestly, I fell. I don't know how it happened, but I fell under the anointing. And then it was a single summit. I had actually asked a question. I wrote it on a sheet of paper, and I said, I have no feelings for anyone. This is really serious. I have no feelings for anyone. No one can, how do you put it? No one can have no affection. It was that bad. No affection towards anybody. No one. No, it was a single summit, so I wrote it on a piece of paper. I couldn't ask this question verbally because I was really shy. And so, is there something wrong with me? And so when the ushers came and took the question, and the man who is supposed to be a professional, singles, marriage, matchmaking master, held the question and said, this is a question from a brother here. I have no affection for anybody. Is something wrong with me? Everybody laughed. He said, brother, I want to meet after now. This is a serious case. You know, now this gay issue is getting serious in this world. He was folding the paper, and he kept it. I didn't go to meet him. And then one girl went up the altar to sing. And she sang. No, don't move that TV from there. Yeah. You want what? Sorry? Say it again. Okay, do you want to play here? Okay, great. And so the girl went up to the altar to sing, and as she sang, oh my God. You know that thing that happened? I felt something lovey-dovey. You know, as if... No, it's not, I don't know butterflies, I don't know about butterflies. But see, as if she was just feeling some things of one after the other with a hammer unscrewing it. And then I said to myself, maybe this is the one. What's happening? That is trying to me. No. It's the... Okay. I'm done with that.
You can bring the board here.
Justin, is that fine?
Yes.
I thought I had affection. I felt affectionate towards her. I said to myself, this is it. This is love. Lord Almighty, the deliverance has happened. I'm in love. I was excited. I have never felt it in my entire life. Wow. Listen, not sexual love. I didn't understand that at that time. Not that. But you see, I felt something for someone for the first time in my life. You know what they used to call me before now? They said I'm the guy who breaks ladies' hearts because they love me and I don't love. So it's serious. But for one girl, from wherever, to melt that heart, she got something. And so, yeah, I love the music. That's one point. And so, I went to my president at the time and I said to him, I needed to propose and do, and the man said, you can't do it. You're a worker in the church. You are a school. 400 level, no. 500 level, no. When you go for service, you can do it. I said, okay, no problem. No, love. Do you know, you can cross 7 rivers, 7 seas, 7 mountains. You wait.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I waited. I was fine. And so I waited. And I gave my all to the girl. Oh my goodness. Then I came for youth service. I used to join NCC so they don't do the same thing. So I just came and I know you guys, man, this girl I'm waiting for, I can't do that. And then, January 27th, 2012, I told my father, Daddy, I'm going to that. He said, what are you going for? He said, it's transcripts, not applying. I was just okay, fine, God go with you, God be with you. I went to my pastor, I told him what I was going to do, the real mission. I said, the Lord will with you. She shall answer just the way we have spoken, as we have said it, so shall it be. As I went there, I bought a ring, bought a gift, went there, got to our room, went on my knees, and I started to speak. And I was just speaking. I was saying, no. I think, there's something that happens. You'll be thinking you're hearing from afar. I was saying, no. So I said, babe, it's me. Like, I came all the way. I said, no, not now. I said, when I finish, I should say 4 million. I said, 4 years, when I'm not Jacob. I said, okay, no problem. I'll give it time, I will wait. I waited. But guess what? It was bad news. 2012 remains the worst year of my life. Because I didn't just take the shield back up. I created walls around me. Walls. I didn't want anyone to get there anymore. But you know what? As I ran away from hurt, from worry, from disappointment, from rejection, a woman rejected me. Do you know who I am? Don't you get? A woman, you don't know, rejected me, Olamide Johnson. Like, I was giving my portfolio, and she said no to me. Man, I lost it. I wasn't me anymore. So I said to myself, I would never be vulnerable to anyone. But guess what? As I shut my heart to those ill things, I also shut my heart to love, to being needed, to happiness. I just existed. I didn't feel anymore. I didn't feel anything anymore. And then I met Coach Sam. But I met him, he said to me, And I told him my story. He said to me, you need to be vulnerable. I didn't quite understand why you mean, actually, do you know what vulnerability means? Vulnerability means you're like this. You're open. You can hurt me. I can let you know that you can hurt me. I can let you know that you don't cook the food for me, I'll get angry. I can let you know that if you don't hug me every morning, then my day doesn't go well. I can let you know that without you, I cease to exist. I can be vulnerable to you. And so I met this fantastic girl, my wife, Olufumi Bell. That's her. She's one. And then I met with her. And then, do you know what she did that fascinated me? She didn't start from the heart, she started from the walls around. She broke them like the walls of Jericho. I was hard. No, you don't want to know. I was hard. And she took a sledgehammer. I was hitting. Boom, boom. Anytime she hit it, I could feel it. Like, this girl is getting to me. How is she doing this? How is stayed by a guy who doesn't even have a job? How is stayed by a guy who is supposed to be sentenced to rearing fish? How is stayed by a guy who doesn't know where he's headed? But she said to me, you can be vulnerable with me because I'm going to be vulnerable with you. And for the first time, I understood that emotion. I could select the emotion I wanted to feel. I was the master of how I needed to feel. I became vulnerable. And today, I could tell her clearly, babe, without you, I'm lonely. Because it's the truth. I can be vulnerable with her. I can be vulnerable with you. Today, I'm vulnerable with more than 100 people here today. Why? Because I chose to master my emotions. The last I say is, it's a quote by Chris Jarvie. He says, to share your weakness is to make yourself vulnerable. To make yourself vulnerable is to show your strength. Thank you very much. My name is Anthony Johnson. Let me have a good time. Thank you.
Your clap is not being justice. Okay, so if you can assure me you can come out and do what he did with the low clap. Because I need you to give this guy a big round of applause. In my usual practice as a teacher, they call me a teacher, I want to test what you've learned. So draw out your notebooks. What do they call it in university? Something else. Who can tell me 3 things you took away from Lamide's conversations and stories? 3 things. You can share. Yes, boss.
Okay, my name is Blossom. The first thing I took away is that you studied fisheries and wildlife.
Thank you.
So now I have everybody's attention. Okay, and then the second thing is he created a huge armor over his heart, and when he met with you, you sort of helped him realize that is not healthy. And I think he's in a better place now. And then the third thing is he introduced his wife and his child. So.
The moment anyone can find something that is your trigger, they will use it. In life, if I know that poking you will provoke you, very good for me. I will make sure I put you in that state so I can use it against you every time. But when you poke me and I adjust, you laugh at me and I adjust, you do all you think you can do and you just don't seem to be getting at me, then I become dangerous. So we say that the most powerful people in any cluster are flexible people. Flexibility is strength. Being obstinate, rigid, uptight being tough, the way we call it, being so difficult to deal with is weakness. There's something you're running away from. Emotional intelligence helps you develop capacity to be flexible. Because first and foremost, no one can understand you like you. Secondly, people will deal with you the best way they understand how to deal with you. Relate with you the best way they can understand. Engage you the best way they can understand. So sometimes people do the wrong things to you with a good intention. They are just being themselves. But the moment you build capacity to be vulnerable, vulnerable does not mean you expose yourself without restraint. It only means that when you're dealing with people, just be who you are. Who I be? Based on logistics. I'd like you to welcome, with a good applause, whom we call Sexy. Please put your hands together for Widad. When she came to class, Coach Widad was one particular thing she told me, I cannot be vulnerable. I don't know why this vulnerable language is like the theme for today. Maybe someone here needs to be vulnerable, right? I strongly believe that God doesn't do things in an accidental way. We did plan vulnerability conversation, but if Olamide came from that angle, and I'm raising this from this angle, there's probably someone here needs to stop being uptight. See, your human physiology cannot handle your being uptight. You're human, you will wear out. Just enjoy life one day at a time. Please enjoy Coach Widad.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Widad. For Sexy, I don't have qualified, you know. I offered money for him to look at Sexy. That's so much. And even to other people. So, anyhow, I'll deal with it. Okay. Emotional intelligence. My name is Widad, and I'd like to say that I'm a learner, a permanent learner. No script, no preparation for this topic. I want us to learn together. So, what is emotion? And what is intelligence? I'm trying to the house. And then we put it together. Volunteers, please. What is emotion? Thank you. Feelings. Do we all agree? Feelings. Okay. I think I'll try. Then what is intelligence? She said capacity to apply knowledge. Any other word? Mastery. Okay. Any other one? Okay, when I was checking today, what?
The ability to use the brain properly.
Ability to use the brain properly. Yes. Okay. I think we're all right. I agree that we're all right. But when I was checking today, intelligence is understanding. Because when you understand, I think the other things will follow. Knowing how to use it, mastering it, because you understand. Now, emotions. Well, I agree, feelings. Yeah. Feelings. Do we tell me the kind of feelings we have?
Feel love, we feel hate.
Okay, love, hate,
Frustration,
depression.
happiness,
But we know some of these feelings. Some of these feelings
joy.
are feelings that some of them are not from inside. Some of them, when we're in an environment, we just feel that, we just feel it. And sometimes they are, okay, they're abstract, but sometimes they're not really there. We just make it up. You come into a class, or you come into a gathering of people, and you just feel, maybe because you greeted the person beside you, the person doesn't like you, and the person didn't answer, the person responded, the person doesn't like you. But you're in your own world. Because you felt it, you made it up. It may not be true. It may not be. Okay? So that brings me to what I would call the KCD movement. I'm feeling I'm too serious.
Yes.
You made it up.
But when it gets into people, am I communicating? We're all going to learn together. We're going to say things together. But for now, let me just set the wheel rolling. K, C, G.
Much better. Can you see? No, we can't. Okay, maybe if you turn on the lights.
Is this clear?
Yeah, Coach, can we bring this board a little closer?
Okay. Don't worry, I won't do too much writing. I'll do more of the talking.
Okay,
Yeah. So,
thank you.
so the KCG says, knowing yourself. And emotional intelligence will help you to know yourself. When you know yourself, you can choose yourself. It means you can be deliberate. You can be in control of what you say, what you do, at any point in time. And then giving yourself as well. That's the last one. Give yourself. Because you know yourself, and because you've chosen yourself, you can decide what you want to give at a particular time. And you can also tell the effect of what you're giving to your surroundings. So, when you know yourself, you'll be able to preserve yourself. Because you know yourself, you know your triggers. Coach mentioned triggers earlier on. I don't know if some of us know our triggers. You do? Okay, please. Can you share?
Okay, my name is Trigger. My trigger is very simple. I don't tolerate very easily. So if you say something that shows disrespect towards me, you upset me. That's my trigger.
Okay, when I say triggers, triggers bring about expression of our emotions. It could be positively or negatively. But quote unquote, there are no negative and positive emotions. It's only the effect of that emotion. Yes. Okay, before I go back to triggers, when I said there is no negative, there is no positive emotion, you can be angry. You can be angry, you can shout, you can scatter this place. Yes, you can kick someone just to set the person right. Make the person do the right thing. For those that are Christians, in the Bible, Jesus went to the temple and saw people saying, he expressed an emotion there. What was the effect of that emotion? He was trying to put people right. can be angry. Take a gun. Pull it. If it's in someone's eye. That's an expression of emotion. Now, what's the effect of that emotion? Cost you the life. And definitely yours is going down too. Either in jail or you're going to meet the person later. That's an emotion. You've expressed it. And at the same time, you can feel happy, you can feel excited and pick up your car and start with 200 and run down. But you were just happy, you were just excited. That's an emotion. So when I say, I don't know if you now agree with me, there is no positive, there is no negative emotion, it's just the way you express it and the effect on your environment or the people around you. Hope you know I'm still in line with this.
Yeah.
Choosing yourself, knowing yourself, and feeling yourself. So triggers are things that happen and move particular emotion in us. Do you know that some of us don't even know our triggers? Because we've not taken time to know ourselves. When something happens, we say, that's how I am. That's just me, don't even bother, that's me. Do you really know yourself? Okay, so I'd like 5 people to tell us their triggers and what happens when someone presses that button. So I want to choose. From the back. Yes, sir.
Okay. My
Please
name
tell
is,
us your name.
yeah, my name is Nkenya.
Kenya.
Nkenya.
Kenya.
Yeah. I know of 2 of my triggers.
Okay.
One is I'm very impatient. I don't like to wait.
Okay. You're very patient. That's
So when I'm in a position where I have to wait, it makes me, I don't know if angry is the right word. I think agitated. I just want to get
you become tense.
yeah. I just want to
nervous.
get done with it quick.
Okay.
The second one is I don't like to feel like my effort was for nothing.
Okay, you take it for granted, right?
Yeah, it will make, so what that does is makes me not want to put in any effort into that thing anymore. It just, because what was the point?
Okay. I don't know if I'd be right to say that your triggers depend on people. Right? It depends on how somebody makes you feel, or a particular thing makes you feel, right? Okay. All right, from the other side. Yes. What's the trigger? Yes.
Good morning. My name is Vicky. I think that one of my triggers would be I get very impatient with if I see that someone is, for example, I expect certain things from you. I expect you to do something in certain ways, and you fall short of my expectations. It makes me very impatient, and that will be one of my triggers.
Okay.
My name is Francis. What triggers me is when people do things wrong, the way it's not supposed to do, especially driving bad.
So what do you do when you're
I agitated.
Yeah, like you swear, right? Okay. My own trigger. Yeah. My own trigger is when we have a deal or something that we're talking. I have a lot of triggers, but at least the one I know is when I say, oh, please don't do this, I'm trying to make peace, and you say, do your worst. Yeah. Oh, dear. No, so some people say, what is this? Do your worst. Then once you say do your worst, oh, I don't mind getting burnt. You understand? I will go and investigate you. Go to Facebook, go to Google, I will investigate you. I will give you time to forget. Then I will strike you. Yes, I'll take details. Yes, I will take my time. It's my worst you want. And do you know that because you have said do your worst, I don't know who begged for you. I don't even mind you winning me in the process. But I will do my worst. Do you know my worst? You know? Yes, I'm just telling you. That's what triggers do. You want to say?
Yeah, I had a question. Like, isn't trigger something? When you say trigger, so shouldn't it be like an immediate reaction?
You know, people react differently. You know, there are some people who are very spontaneous. Some people are they're aggressive, but very silent. Yes, very silent, detailed, and they are very aggressive. But you don't see it. You don't see that aggression. You know, they may, because they want to deal with you, stay very close to you, be your friend, or set someone, you know, come to your neighborhood and investigate. All did I do? But that's a trigger. You sent one on an errand. Yes. But when you know yourself, I know that's a trigger. So when you say do your worst, this person, I already know myself. So I try to build a shield. I know this person wants to waste my time because I want to leave other things. I'm following this person. I said, do your worst. When do your worst you can just say do your worst, and I will decide not to hear it. But I can lose my time, my money, my everything just because of one person, and commit a lot. You know, stress your emotions, get angry and all that, you know, all because somebody said do your worst. And then another trigger again, for some people, I think mostly men is, oh, I can't do that. Women that do that. Just that kiss, when just kiss like this. Oh, God. That's a trigger. So what did you tell us?
When I don't sleep well. I probably have a very...
But if we notice, you see, most of our triggers are from outside. Okay, she said when she doesn't sleep well. Then we also have some triggers that are internal. Yeah. I have one other trigger, hunger. Oh God. When I'm hungry, I am shaking, you are talking, but I'm not hearing. And maybe just a slice of bread. That's what I do. Yes, we take them already. But once you know your trigger, once you know what, you know yourself. Then when you're interacting with somebody else, you know, you're able to set the boundaries. You're able to, you relate well with people. You be at peace with people. You're able to preserve yourself. You know that I don't want this to happen because I am this kind of a person. Somebody hisses, you know that yes, hissing makes you go gaga, and then you don't want to go gaga. So you start accepting hissing. Maybe you go and look for tapes that people are hissing, and then you start getting used to hissing. Yes. Somebody says do your worst. Sometimes you stand in front of the mirror and say do your worst. You keep hearing it. You listen to it. So that do your worst. Just find a way, to take care of yourself. And if you know hunger is your trigger, please, when it's about time, just eat something, take care of yourself, so that you don't, Then, yes, I think it comes, knowing yourself, you choose yourself, then giving yourself. When you give yourself, you preserve other people. The first thing in giving yourself is making excuses for people. There was one time, Coach told us a story about a staff and a superior and a subordinate. They were supposed to do something in the office, and the woman said he should come on Saturday. And the man said, if he comes on Saturday, is there going to be money there? And the woman was like, what's wrong with this one? Is it not where we are eating from? Is it not our work? How can he say that? And then somehow they found themselves in this class. And then he now told them, what are your values? You need to know that your own life, your own ideas, you need to accept it. It's not the mark. You need to believe in diversity. You need to understand that all of us are coming from different places, where we're playing different, we have this different scripts, we have reasons for different things. So you need to respect it. When you respect that, you're giving yourself, you're making allowances for other people. You won't get hurt easily. Because you make excuses. For instance, you're calling me on the phone, and I'm not picking it, and it's very important. Do you know if that phone was not ringing out? Do you know if that phone was not? Do you know what I'm going through at that moment? You just keep making excuses for people. Then immediately I people say, "Oh, did they crazy? I've been calling you. Did you hear my story?" Then when I now tell you what happened, you feel, but you have already said things that you can't take it. You didn't preserve me. You didn't. So we should always preserve our environment. We should preserve people. So let me conclude on the story. So he now asked in class, okay, please, what are your values? So the boss said arrange 5 values. Number 1 on the boss's list was sacrifice, giving, helping. And for this subordinate, his own was money, which is not wrong, because you really have to pay for that time. It's not wrong. That's his own value. That's why he was saying, how can I come on a Saturday and they are not paying me for it? Now the boss got angry and all that. Well, because she didn't know. But you have to learn to respect other people. Everybody has what they take important. Some people, if you ask them, what's your greatest value? Say family. Some people say integrity. Some people say respect. And diversity is the spice of life. We are all different. And nobody is wrong. And nobody is better than anyone. Because if you're not there, life is going to be boring. The world is a rainbow. And we're all different colors. So be yourself. Choose yourself, know yourself, and give yourself.
Are committing suicide. And as we were talking, she was saying many things. So I drew out a sheet from my drawer, and as she was talking, I was writing all she was saying. So when I was done writing, and she was done talking, I now asked her, all you said, is it what should be? Or is it what is? She said, all she said is what is. I said, all you said that is it what should be? She said, none that she has said which is, should be. So in our life, every day, there is the ideal and there is the reality. The reality is what you hear. That voice your mom says, don't let a boy touch you. You could just get belly for nothing. Don't deal with so tribe. They are fraudulent. Don't join the police force. There's no good policeman. Don't deal with so kind of people. They are evil. Don't go here. Don't eat this. Don't do that. Don't relate with that. Those are the voices you hear subconsciously. All of us have voices. Your mom's voice, your teacher's voice, your dad's voice, your neighbor's voice, your spouse's voice, your younger brother's voice, older brother's voice. There is one voice playing in your hearing, so you're hearing consistently when you're about to do anything. So when in a session like this, you hear voices that say, so I should choose myself and let somebody else ride on me. And then you hear your mother say, nobody should take you for granted. Deal with anybody. So when, as Willard is speaking, choose yourself, your mother is saying, deal with everybody. You're wondering, okay, which one should I do? Oh, I believe in my mother now. It worked for her. These are the battles we deal with every day. The question is, when you do anything, is it what is or is it what should be? When you do anything, is it what is or is it what should be? Whose scripts are you running? Whose program is operating with you? How you eat, is that how you want to eat? Or is that how you learned to eat? How you walk, is that how you wish to walk? Or is it how you were groomed to work? How you dress, how you relate, I was doing a session and I said, some of us, there is a way your day runs. Nothing can change it. There is a time you must brush your teeth and how you should eat and the positioning. There is a place, when someone came to my house and we served food, she sat on the dining. I was asking, do you mind if I bring the food to the living room side so I can watch? I said, why not? She said, you're that accommodating. Because some programming, you dare not come to the living room to eat. question is, when it drills down to the very simple things of your life, whose program are you running? And when you identify this program, is it serving you or is it working against you? Because at the end of the day, many things are not serving you. You are just fighting. You are struggling to keep up with some expectation. In your head, I want to honor my dead mother by not doing this thing that she has trained me not to do. Is it serving you or is it working against you? I want to talk about the following things. I've drawn out a small outline that we're going to discuss before you go. I don't know why I'm smiling. Because I'm happy. If you have the EI manual, emotional intelligence, or you have the anger management manual, please open it. Identify a particular page called List of Emotions. There is a page in the anger management manual and the emotional intelligence manual called List of Emotions. Please find it. If you are there, please raise your hand. If you find it, fastest fingers. Fastest fingers. It's way behind. Check, check, check. Anger management of fear mastery. You have passed it. List of emotions. Are you there?
Yeah.
Fantastic. List of emotions. There are different manuals, so some may not have big numbers. These are old manuals for sample.
No. It should be
You have
always
it?
here.
Great. List of emotions. Are you there too? Fantastic. Good. Check. Maybe. List of emotions. Are you there? List of emotions. Are you there? If you have either emotional intelligence, you won't find it. This is fear man. If you have either emotional intelligence or anger management manual, you would have it. Do you have it?
Yeah.
Are we waiting for anyone?
Don't have.
You don't have it. Okay, so for those who have it, we will use those who have it. We will use, okay, I know what to do. Let me project that picture for your sake. So if you don't have it, don't worry. You have it on the board. Just an extract. Does this look like what you have in your manual? Yes. List of emotions. I want you to test something. Between when you came this morning and now, identify how many emotions on this list that you have experienced. Write them down.
In this class?
Yes, in this class, right now, in your paper. Between when you came into this room and now, How many of these have you felt? Do you know that it went through you? How many? I want to see who has the highest number of emotions experienced in the last 2 hours. We did this in class. Some very fantastic guy had 35 emotions. What? You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked.
Yeah, a lot of people carry a lot of them.
You'll be shocked. How many of these emotions have you felt since you came here today? Emotional intelligence. Until you know your emotions, you can't deal with it. So how many have you felt today? Who has finished? The list is inexhaustive, but let's use just what we have on the screen for the purpose of this moment. Who has finished? You've exhausted. How many do you have? One. Who else? How many do you have? Three. Who else? Madam, how many do you have? 6. Who has more than 6? How many do you have?
I'm not finished.
Oh, you're not finished. How many do you have?
Okay, I have 8 and counting.
8 and counting. 3. And I want, if you hear a number, unless yours is higher, don't bother. So we have 8. Who else is higher? 13. Who else is higher than 13? Higher than 13? If you've had higher than 13, so stop. Let's stay with, you're higher. How many? 14. How many have higher than 14? For the sake of this moment, let's stop. We have 14 emotions. Ladies and gentlemen, you are emotions in flesh and blood. Hello? Hi. You are what? Emotions in flesh and blood. You are moving emotions. It is impractical to not be emotional because you are literally an emotion. From the entire map and physiology of your makeup, you are emotions. So we usually use this description to say from when you wake up till you go to bed, you are the container. What is going on inside of you is liquid, is emotions. And because the earth is a moving orbit, it keeps revolving, you are moving. When you meet people, there's a vibration. When you see incidences, there's a vibration. You're driving, there's a vibration. You see a signboard, there's a vibration in your brain. As I'm speaking, there's a vibration. Everything around you is vibrating. And when there's a vibration, hello, there will be movement. So you are moving emotions. Anything can trigger a new emotion in you. Anything. When you're eating, there is an emotion going on. When you stop eating, there will be a switch of emotions. When you get up to leave take your place to the kitchen, there is going to be a movement of emotion. It is not practical to not be emotional. So when you're trying to not be emotional, you're trying to not be human. Hello? Hi. When you say, I don't want to be emotional, in other words, I don't want to be human. And I'd like you to know something. All of us are an embodiment of all emotions. Without said it succinctly, no emotion is good, no emotion is bad. All emotions are useful. When I come to you, sir, and I pull your bed, how many of us watched the Johnsons last night? When Steve wants to grow older than his age so that he will not ride bike, and they were forcing him to remove. Now when I come to you legitimate and I'm pulling your bed and I'm trying to force it out of hatred for the bed, is that right application of hatred?
No.
No.
When I see a child being molested and I beat or I attack the molester out of hatred, is that right application of hatred?
Yes.
You can legitimately hate a bad thing. You can illegitimately hate a good thing. You can legitimately love a good thing and illegitimately love a bad thing. Love in itself is useful. Hate in itself is youthful. Unless we hate corruption enough, Nigeria will stay the way it is. Hate in itself is useful. It is the application of the emotion that now determines whether it is functional or dysfunctional. The emotion in itself is complete. What makes you human is that you are an embodiment of all emotions. All men are the same at the emotional level. Hello, somebody. Let me give you an instance. Do you know some of us here, if we have the same conditioning, the same environment, the same exposure, the same content, the same neighbors, the same environment as the people who grew up in Boko Haram environment, some of us will be Boko Haram terrorists. Because why? Inside of us is the same capacity to be terrorists, provided the condition and environment is the same. The same way these terrorists, if they have the same conditioning, the same environment, the same exposure, the same capacity, the same learning as some of us who grew up in a more serene, more exposed, more lovely, more loving, more accommodating environment, some Boko Haram apologists and jihadists may never be terrorists. Do you get this? Are we together? Why are we saying this? We're saying that at the emotional level, we all have the capacity to demonstrate every emotion. When you understand this, it helps you know that it's okay to be angry. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be vexed. It's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to be kind. It's okay to choose not to be kind. It's okay to be indifferent. It's okay to be insensitive. It's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to be empathetic. It's still okay to be not empathetic. You have the capacity to demonstrate every single emotion. The same way you can love a person is the same way you can hate another person. It's the same you. Am I talking to someone?
Yeah.
So, one way to master your emotions is what we call name it, tame it. You say after me, name it, tame it. Name it, tame it. What does it mean? It means that if you want to successfully handle and master your emotions, you need to know what the emotion is. Hence this list. If you don't know what you are feeling, how can you master it? If you don't know that at this material time I'm anxious, how do you become calm? If you don't know at this material time I'm angry, how do you master it? If you don't know at this material time I'm moody, how do you become joyful? If you don't know at this material time I'm disappointed, how do you become hopeful? Until you know an emotion, you cannot treat it. So one of the things we learn in class is to go through the list of emotions. We say once you can name the emotion you feel, you can master it. If you can assume the emotion, you may not master it. Your mind cannot operate in an unresolved state. Your mind must always stay in a resolved state. And what's a resolved state? Every time, all your mind needs is a decision. I feel this. Once you can name the feeling, your mind will generate answers for how to master it. So one of the goals you have for the rest of this year is becoming a student of your feelings. How am I feeling? How do I feel? Become so conversant with your feelings such that you can easily identify what you feel per time. It is impractical to go 30 straight minutes, in fact 5 straight minutes without a switch of emotions. You keep going in and out of emotions because you are emotional. And you need to permit yourself to express your emotions. One of the things we were trained to do is to suppress how we feel, especially for guys. Guys, don't cry. Come on. You're man. Come on. Man up. So we have many dysfunctional men. Several of us men are unable to become leadership men. We're unable to become role models. We're unable to become examples of what it means to lead the people. Because we don't have the liberty to express our vulnerabilities. And you need to learn it. There is a map we discussed in class. Let me close this so I can draw on the board. a very foundational map to all behavioral courses. Anywhere you learn about behaviors, this map called the TFA map is fundamental to all our behaviors. And so if I am able to explain this map, you will be able to understand why we do what we do and how we do what we do. But let me give an example and a scenario. There's a lady who came in this morning. Let me look for her. So this smile, she knew I was looking for her. If you don't mind, you don't mind coming out? Please put your hands together for Abiola. I cannot hear your clap for you. Thank you. Abiola came in quite early. And when she came in, she came in, she was like, I need to look for where the AC will not disturb me. She stood here. And I said, I think where you are is very appropriate. So she walked in, and she said, Coach, how is your wife? And I said, my wife is fine. Then I now started speaking Hausa to her. When I was speaking Hausa to her, she now said, speak your language to me. And I said, oh, really? Then what did you say? She now said, my name is Abiola. And I said, oh, your dress misled me. She wasn't even wearing the hijab. She was wearing a veil. Is it veil you call it?
Yes.
So I now said, oh, your dress misled me. Why? The first thing I reasoned when I saw her was that she's Hausa Fulani. It didn't even matter whether I just straight up started speaking Hausa to her. And she was like, guy, speak your language to me. And she had to say her name so I could understand she speaks Yoruba and she can understand if I choose to speak in Yoruba. Are we together?
Yes.
Thank you, Abiola. Please put your hands together for her. Unconsciously, we all size people up based on a perception. That incident is called triggering events. The event that triggers your behavior. When I saw her dressed in a northern attire, my brain immediately said, she's Hausa speaking. The triggering event was her dressing. A triggering event can be accent. A triggering event can be behavior. A triggering event can be hunger. A triggering event can be broke. You are broke, you don't have money. A triggering event, a triggering event can be your child being sick. A triggering event can be somebody disappointed you. A triggering event can be anything. Whatever can make you behave in a particular way is a triggering event. However, all triggering events are 100% beyond your control. All triggering events, you do not have control over when they happen, how they happen, why they happen, and what they are. So most times, we become subject of what we don't have control over. We become vulnerable to incidences we don't have control over. A triggering event is beyond your control. I need you to pay attention to this critically. So why does it affect us? Why is a triggering event a problem for us at the end of the day? The moment a triggering event occurs, the first thing that happens in your brain is that you begin to think about the event, what we call thoughts. So when I saw her, my brain said, speak Hausa. I thought she's Hausa speaking. When you see a person, or you hear a person, or you observe a behavior, so sometimes you go to a party and somebody's talking, you say, I can talk. Meanwhile, you may not know that she's introverted. She only found a friend that maybe they've lost contact for a long time. They're trying to catch up. Your conclusion is that, talk for Africa. Because that's what your brain processes. You see a person's name on a form. You see Abdul Muttalab. You say, no way. If it's a CV, you say, no, not this one. We get all this, we do this unconsciously. It becomes a pattern of our decision-making process. We automatically think based on the events we observe. But how do we come to that? This is how it happens. All your thoughts are a product of all your beliefs. All the things we think are a product of all our beliefs. I believe that only Hausa speaking people could dress this way. Belief makes me think she's Hausa. I believe that all people wear mutala, they cannot be trusted. Belief makes you remove that CV from that pool of CVs. Everything you've done. So some people have a belief about fair ladies. Some people have beliefs about tall women. Some people have beliefs about short people. They say all short people are angry people. It's a belief. So when you say a short person, you're already telling yourself. You know why? Because there is a belief that says all short people are angry people. There is a belief that all Igbo people are money mongers. Belief. So when you meet an Igbo acquaintance, you don't even wait to have a relationship. You just say, I can be your friend, but when you come to money, I have to sit up. Belief. So when you see on Twitter, they say Yoruba demons. They say belief. That's just all Yoruba boys. Watch out. They will give it to you. Belief. Everything we think is based on the belief. All your beliefs are based on your programming. Which is why I started with programming. Where did you pick your beliefs from? Are they working for you? Are they working against you? There are 3 sources of beliefs. Number 1 is upbringing. 3 sources of beliefs. The things we believed are rooted in 3 sources. Number 1 is our upbringing. Who raised you? Where were you raised? How were you raised? Number 2, environment. Number 1 source of belief, upbringing. Number 2 source of belief, environment. So, some people will spend a premium to take their kids to special environments. Yes. Have them in different environments. It's not because they want to show that they have money, because environment is a major determinant of belief system. So I have a former boss in my former employment. All his kids attended Avicenna in GR in Keja. All his salary was used for that school fees. His wife was taking care of every other, but his own salary, he will pile up, save, because that salary was cutthroat. That school fees was cutthroat. One day he told me, he said, Sam, you will not understand what I'm doing. He says, when these kids become teenagers, their colleagues will be those children that I was cutting my throat to pay fees for. Because there's something about the environment, the school your kids go, the neighborhood you live, the friendship, associations, all these things form the environment that influences our behaviors. You take it or leave it, anyone you relate with in 21 days, you will exhibit a behavior. How much more 2 years? How much more 6 years of secondary school? How much more 5 years of tertiary education? How much more 10 years of work experience? Any environment you find yourself, you will naturally acclimatize and begin to demonstrate that the value system of that environment. That is why some people will never work in some places. Not because the place is bad in itself, they don't want to imbibe some values. Environment. Number 3, source of belief is emotional experiences. We call it significant emotional experiences. A loss of a loved one, a heartbreak, an accident, somebody used to speed, then he has a near-death experience. From that day, 1, he may not drive again. 2, whoever is driving him, you say, you look at the dashboard. You know they pass it to you. You know they pass it to you. And they talk to you. I go drop. Significant emotional experience. It automatically rewires what they believe. Before they didn't give a damn. Suddenly they give a damn. Some of us were reckless singles. The day we had our first children, you just sit up and say, "Pikin, don't come." Significant emotional experience. You just suddenly change apparatus. Your friends are saying, "Come, let's go and hang out." I'm fine, I'm okay. Just take care of yourselves. And they're wondering what has happened to this guy. Your wife don't jazz you. It's not wife. The fact that a child came, they're overwhelmed emotionally, it just changes everything. These are the sources of how we believe things. And the moment you can understand how you believe things, you begin to understand how it makes you feel. Now, the moment you think, your physiology, now let me explain something. Physiologically, the brain is formed in two ways, or has two components. There is the thinking chamber, which is logic. And there's the limbic chamber, which is the feelings. So, as you're thinking, whatever you're thinking, which generates the feelings, is going to trigger the hormonal response. Because all the things we do are out of hormonal adrenaline or cortisol, whatever hormones are associated with that thought, it will happen. So, when I see, let's say we hear an alarm now, boom! The first thing that comes to your head is bomb blast or fire or whatever you may think. The moment you think it, it will trigger a hormonal reaction. The hormonal reaction will trigger a feeling. So, hormonal reaction will now start making you shake, your hair will rise, your eyes will dilate, you're scared, palpitation, anything can happen. So all thoughts lead to feelings. Everything you think will create a feeling. So when I came to Biola and I started speaking Hausa because I thought she's Hausa speaking, because my background, I was born and bred in the north, my base language is Hausa, I feel more accommodating when I meet Hausa people. So you will find that my feelings towards Hausas, which I saw, remember the triggering event is that I saw a Hausa looking person. Is that not so? Yes. When I saw a Hausa looking person, I thought this guy would understand my language. I felt more at home. So I felt good. I felt happy. I felt excited. I approached her. We started gisting. She said, "No, speak your language." "Oh, really?" So that drew banters. So we started gisting. We started becoming friendlier. That is what happened. But if my definition of Hausa is disempowering, let's assume that my thought about Hausa people is, those religious people, those people that can kill people, those people that are this, those people that... Once I have that thought pattern, based on my belief, what will I do? I will feel withdrawn, disdainful, maybe disrespectful, despiseful, whatever. The feelings will relate to how I'm thinking. If I think good, I will feel good. If I think bad, I will feel bad. When I feel whatever I feel, I will act the way I feel. So sometimes, when Aminka goes to visit a friend with another friend, they enter the house of the friend, she is greeting the friend, and the friend is a bit, she's not connecting. And you say, this is my friend now, that I told you about, why you, maybe they go there and say, why are you acting that way? Say, I don't know, I just don't connect with that person. I just don't know, I can't even explain it. Has that happened to you before? You meet people, you really can't explain, but you don't feel cool, you don't feel like you want to be with them, you don't feel like you can do rapport with them, you don't feel like you can gist with them, you don't feel like you want to befriend them, you just want to leave their environment. It's because there is something about them that is triggering a belief that makes you think you can't, that makes you feel you can't, that is making you not do it. All the things you do with people is rooted in a belief about what you are seeing about them, hearing about them, feeling, thinking about them. Everything is rooted here, your beliefs. So the question is, When I can't bond with people, I need to ask myself, what's it about them that I'm seeing? If I can identify it, I can now identify what belief is tied to that behavior. Because we can work at it. Once you can identify what you're doing, you can retrace it. All behaviors are tied to a feeling. All feelings are tied to a thought. All thoughts are interpreted based on some beliefs that are interpreting what we are experiencing. I'll say it again. All behaviors are tied to feelings. All feelings are tied to thoughts. All thoughts are interpreted based on beliefs that are governing what we are experiencing. So when you see people, when you read an email, the words in the email can determine how you will respond to the email. You know, if I send you an email and I say, "You bastard," that word can be a triggering event. Your belief about the word bastard will determine what you think about the email, will determine how you will feel about the email, will determine your reply. Are we together? So all the things we do really is tied to the fact that there is a belief that determines how you behave. And once you can identify the belief that governs your behavior, you're at a higher level of behavior. That is where with that statement that says choose yourself comes to play. Because now I know that when it comes to so kind of words, this is my belief system. If I ask myself, is this working for me? I will choose myself. If it's not working for me, I will still choose myself by asking myself, what can I do about this term and this word? Yesterday I was doing a session with a group of teenagers, and I was asking them, we did a personality assessment, and while we did the assessment, I asked them to write 2 lists. I said, write the list of the things working for you and the things working against you from the assessment. Most of them wrote what they wanted. Some of them here said, I'm impatient. One other person said, I'm shy. Another person said, I'm anxious. Some other person said, I'm rigid. Another person said, I'm insensitive. So when they were done writing, I now asked them, what other word can we rewrite these statements, these particular words, in a way that it will work for you? Am I talking to someone? Yes. There are weaknesses that are part of you. You cannot do anything about it. But how can you see them as working for you? So the guy that said he was impatient, he said, I like to get things done and sorted. That was his new term for impatient. But the guy for insensitive said, I like to, he said, when I said, so what other word for insensitive? He said, I focus on other things and ignore other things. He said, focus. In fact, one of them said, lack of focus is his weakness. By the time he redefined it, he said, I'm multitasking. Because until you redefine, or you will succeed when you see your weaknesses as feedback, as something that has its role to play. Some of us who have watched this movie, The Shadow Effect, you remember the one that said, someone called her bitch. And when she said bitch, how am I bitch? She said, there are times when you have to be bitchy to get things done. Yes. There's a good side to every weakness. Just the same way, all your strengths are your weaknesses. The things that are your strengths are still the things that will cover you. They will put you in trouble. So at the end of the day, you are an embodiment of everything useful. In fact, in NLP, we like to say, when we're discussing utilization, everything you experience is useful. Everything you ever experience in your life is useful. There is something you need to do with it. Because the God that created you does not create things accidentally. So it means that that time someone let you down, it was necessary for you to learn how to be disappointed. It's useful. Every time you were used and abandoned, it was necessary for you to go that route, to understand what it means to value other people. It is useful. Everything is useful. And until you understand that if you don't name your emotion, you cannot tame it. So, how do we master our emotions? There is a model called, do we understand this map?
Yeah.
The TFA map. This is the TFA model for behaviors. Let me test it now. Who can come out and explain this? I have a free gift for you. Come and explain this model all over again. Please come out. Please put your hands together for harm. Come and explain the model all over again. You can use your own words, use your own terms, and explain this model all over again. The TFA model. I did not hear you clap for how. Feel free to wipe if you want.
Okay, so I can start.
Do anything you want, it's free.
I want to free gifts.
Free.com.
Trigger, yeah, that's my trigger. Okay. The first thing was the triggering events. And then, so you explain this as whatever it is that you see, that's what you see, what you hear, what you feel. So, you give an example. I can give another example.
Yes.
Okay, let me give the same example.
Don't use my example. Give us another example.
Okay, let me give something close to me. So let's say, for example, I hear an accent of somebody talking, and the person happens to be, the accent sounds Ibira to me, that's people from it. So the triggering event now will be what I heard. So, and then I'll think, this person is an Ibira lady, and I'll begin to, based on the beliefs I have, which, like, you know, they say they can be, they can be aggressive, they can be abusive, they can be, you know, so, in fact, there is one of these things I've heard. Somebody said, the policeman asked, there are about 5 people in a bus, they had an accident. So the policeman asked, how many people are in the bus? And one Yoruba woman said, there are 4 people and 1 Ibira. So that makes me think based on the beliefs, and then this will now make me feel. So I may feel anxious, I may feel I need to be very careful so I don't trigger her anger. So yeah, cautious, so my feeling, and then this will relate to how I would behave. So I would want to be very careful not to say something. So it means everything, I'm going to be choosing my words. The way I'm going to be relating to the person will be like, you know, so, exactly. So triggering events leads to what you think, makes what you feel, and behavior. And then you said your beliefs are from 3 things: your upbringing, your environment, and significant emotional experience.
Learning took place. Learning took place.
Learning took place.
We are fought in this war with one ignorant.
Oh my, interesting. Very interesting. Now, there is a code. There is a code behind how to break down the belief domain, which I will leave until you come to class. See you in class for that. How do you determine a belief system that is working for you or not working for you, working against you? That we will decode in class. But I would like to talk about another model Meanwhile, please come, put your hands together for, what's your name? For Hawa? There's your gift. That book is a coursework for one of our courses, Fear Mastery Class. Fear Mastery Class is one of our very deeply philosophical classes that talks about how to master your fear. And if you've been noticing from the slides, we have a teenage version for July. We call it Self-Mastery Class for teenagers. It's a combo class for anger management, fear mastery, and EI. It's a week-long course for teenagers. We're also introducing cyberbullying for teenagers. It's part of that week. So in that 1 week, we'll have anger management sessions, emotional intelligence sessions, fear mastery sessions, cyberbullying sessions, and then entrepreneurial skills sessions. 1 whole week of sessions in July. So please do your ears on the ground. We'll have your details. We'll reach out to you as soon as we need to make announcements. Before July, these are the courses that we have. This is already the next class, which you already have the flyers. Cultural intelligence is an offshoot of EI that we're beginning to develop. We know that some of you have the privilege of having cross-cultural people in your workforce. Diverse tribes, even diverse nationalities. How do you understand the breach, and how do you understand the complements that relate with different cultures and different attitudes and perspectives? Do you know there is tone of language for different cultures? There is tone of greeting for different cultures. There is body language for different cultures. How do you understand the difference between this, even when you've never seen or read about them? So it's a deep course that you need to find a way to attend. And then this is the second level course, like an advanced course in EI. Some of us have gone through trauma. Have you found, yesterday someone was talking to me that her mom is highly tolerant. But what her mom helps other people achieve, she's suffering from them. So the mom can go all the way to get you support and help, but she's suffering from the same need that she's helping you to achieve. So a typical example, I'm broke. You come to me that you don't have money. I'll go all the way to get you money just so you can be fine. But I also have a challenge that I'm personally broke, because I believe that if I use you as a springboard, I can get you support, but I don't want to ask for myself. So emotional fortitude is a very delicate conversation. How do you persevere through emotional trauma? How do you persevere in the process of tragedy, process of pain, process of difficulties, especially now that the suicidal tendencies and depression is skyrocketing. So people now need to go beyond emotional intelligence to learn emotional fortitude. How do I stay grounded so that I'm emotionally stable? It's a 1-day course we're doing in June 10th. And it's largely affordable. We're making it very cheap for everybody. This course is only 25K. This course is only 25K. Extremely affordable. But by the last quarter of this year, all the courses will go up because they will become certification courses. So if you are really interested, please leave your name with my colleagues behind. But let's talk about this. There's what we call tripod of emotional intelligence. The tripod of emotional intelligence. The tripod of emotional intelligence. How do we say someone is emotionally intelligent? What qualifies someone to be emotionally intelligent? There are 3 attitudes that makes us say someone is emotionally intelligent. When Hawa was explaining her incident with the Ibera woman, you will hear she was saying the moment she identifies the woman is Ibera, and she's thinking that they say Ibera people are this, that, and she's feeling careful and feeling quite concerned and being reserved. She begins to behave in a particular way, withdrawn, careful, she picks her words. You know what she's doing? The first thing Hawa is doing is that she's preserving herself. The first quality of emotional intelligence is self-preservation. Your number 1 priority your number one need, your number one goal, your number one target is to always preserve yourself. Always preserve yourself. Your happiness is primary and paramount. Many of us have been blackmailed to become secondary empathetic. It means that you're empathetic towards other people to the detriment of yourself. Your primary motivation is self-preservation. So if you do anything that is harming or hurting you, you're running a program that is not serving you. Anytime you run a program that is not preserving you, you're running a program that is harming you or hurting you. Self-preservation is the first thing. So this is the tripod. Self-preservation. Number two quality of an emotionally intelligent person is that while I'm protecting myself, to the best of my knowledge, I will not be harming or hurting you. People preservation. The second quality of emotional intelligence is that while I'm protecting myself, I must ensure I'm not creating harm or pain deliberately from my actions and behaviors to anyone. To anyone. A typical example, in this age of social media, you will find many of us go rant on social media. While you are ranting, in itself, it's not a problem. But when your rant begins to harm other people's opportunities, chances, and thresholds, then your emotional intelligence is out of question. So some of us go on social media, we say a lot of things. They begin to cast aspersion and try to hurt other people's work, try to hurt other people's image, try to hurt other people's opportunities, try to hurt other people's chances. Your emotional intelligence quotient is in question. Someone is there. So a test of your emotional intelligence is that 1, I will not hurt or harm myself emotionally, physically, financially, psychologically, materially. While I'm protecting myself, I will not harm or hurt anyone that is involved in that conversation or that transaction or at that material time, emotionally, financially. So a typical example is, it is okay to say no. The question is, how do you say no? It's okay to reprimand and discipline a child. The question is, how are you doing it? Because I can reprimand my child, discipline my child, and still make the child feel self-esteem intact, psyche intact. I don't reduce my child. I don't make the child feel useless. I don't make the child feel like, see your mate. See your mates, they get too head. Those statements are depraving. You're not preserving the child. Some of us are colleagues in the office. We use words anyhow. Madman. I have a former boss. You say they are coming to you from your village. That man, he terrorized all of us. Where are you? You'll be screaming on third floor. From third floor, they will be hearing him from. Where is he? Is he mad? You see, they have come again from your village. Bastard. So I'm telling you, we were working in financial services, and you know the way these banking services used to be. All the others are God. You know, so when you approach people from that angle, it now loses the quality of reprimand itself. So if you have the EI manual, for instance, which is even one of the slides which I just covered, we talk about destructive patterns of communication. There is a way you want to communicate an offense. You are the offended. But there's a way you communicate the offense so that you even lose your power as the offended. Are we together? There is a way that you, the offended, you lose your power. I like the way Wida put it when she talked about the gun. And one other example. I may get angry. It's my legitimate right to get angry. But when I now get angry and I pull up the gun and I shoot you, I've lost the anger itself, the right for my offense is lost, because at that point, manslaughter is on me. So in EI, we encourage people to say, number one, protect yourself. You have the right to feel what you feel. I read in a book, it says, when a man says he feels a particular way, don't deny him the right to that feeling. Everybody has a right to how they feel. It's your feeling. I can't say, well, we do that around here. Why are you vexed now? Because you make you vex. So in other words, you're saying, you don't have the right to be angry. Why are you angry? It's a person's feeling. It's a legitimate thing. Feelings are emotions. And I didn't arrive here just like that. I arrived here because one, I believed something, belief system. Number two, I thought something. The moment I thought about it, I had a feeling. So I didn't just jump into a feeling. There was a progression. Hello? Hi. Last 2 weeks, I was having a debate with a friend. And she was talking about the fact that if people can contain physical pain, why can they not contain emotional pain? I said emotional pain is gradual. Physical pain can be immediate, can be instantaneous. All emotional pain is gradual. All emotional pain are gradual. How? Because first there's an event. Whether someone insults you, someone calls you out, someone does anything, or you see something, or you hear something, or you feel something, there's an event. When there's an event, your belief system will begin to interpret what you are experiencing. As you are interpreting it, you begin to think. That thought is a filter. He's saying, this is what I'm beginning to conclude about what I'm imagining or processing about what is going on. Then you feel a particular way. So when people have done this to you, there is a journey they've taken between when an event occurred and when they started behaving that way. There was a journey. So first thing, every time, protect yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, be happy to be angry when you are angry. Be happy to be sad when you are sad. Don't deny yourself the opportunity to express an emotion you really feel. Because what you resist will break you down. Am I talking to someone? Yes. Your emotions are more powerful than your physical nature. Hello? Your emotions are more powerful than what? Your physical nature. So when you suppress your emotions, you are harming your physical nature. Which is why I didn't finish that former map. I was going to draw something like this to say, the way we have been wired is that first there is a mental engagement. When there is a mental engagement, then there is an emotional engagement. When there's an emotional engagement, there is a hormonal engagement. Then there is a physiological engagement. Physiological is your body. Every feeling has a physical representation. Every feeling. There is a part of your body that feels it. Whether a pain here, a palpitation, your butterfly, whatever you call it, your leg is hurting, your sole of your feet, something in your body will tell you you're feeling something. It's always a physical representation of an emotional experience. It's always like that. So if you pay attention to your body, it's telling you something. Some of you have been having consistent headache. You're just gulping Panadol. It's not a Panadol issue. It's an emotional experience. If you don't face the experience and deal with it, the headache will persist. Some of you have ulcers. They were generated from too much of hormonal excretion, drawn from emotional trouble. Some of you wake up, the sole of your feet is hurting. It's emotional. Some of you have waist pain, back pain. All these physical touch points are telling you something. You are gulping a lot of drugs. You're doing physiotherapy. Every month, you're changing routine, changing therapy. You say it's not working. You start castigating your coach. Coach, I'm just wasting my money. You need emotional focus. You need to pay attention to something. Because largely, we all have physical map to our emotional being. There is always a physical map to your emotional being. Why does stroke happen? Is it not maximization of emotional frustration? Once your emotional state has maxed out, your body will respond. So I can't take it. So your part will just shut down. That's exactly what paralysis does. No doctor will tell you otherwise. So you need to understand that self-preservation, as much as you want to love the world and be Jesus Christ, preserve yourself first. Preserve yourself first. Preserve yourself first. Whatever you feel, learn to express it. If verbal expression is difficult, write it. If writing is difficult, get someone that can help you explain it. The least you should do is to bottle it up and say, I don't want trouble. Trouble will come to you. The second thing you should do, as you are preserving yourself, be honest enough to preserve the people involved in that process. Are we together? Yes. People's psychological state, emotional state should not be your goal. One of the things we teach in class is that you can communicate the pain, communicate the feeling, don't communicate the pain. Communicate the feeling, don't communicate the pain.
How do you do that?
So, Madam steps on me. I feel that the only way she can understand why I'm angry is for me to do something that will pain her. The way I feel it. That's what we do. That's what we do. Someone cheats on you or somebody robs you of something, you're looking for ways to make them know how it pains me. So, you go apologize, maybe you go talking to them and they are smiling. You're thinking, wow. This person did not apologize the way I want. The person may say sorry, but because the person had a sign of smile, you say no, that apology was not real. It's not real. You want a symbol of remorse and pain that, oh my God, I did that, oh my God. So that you want to feel justified that there is a reciprocation of pain. That in itself is a limitation for you. People preservation dictates, let me write a mathematical formula you will learn in class. It says that PF is equal to PT minus IM. Says your performance is equal to your potential minus the interferences in your life. Your performance in life is equal to your potential less the interferences you are going through in life. And I will explain. What makes you a versatile human being? What makes you maximum game player? What will make people say, I like how consistent this person is. I like how productive this person is. I like how efficient this person is. This person seems to just get all things working. With people, he's on point. In his work, he's on point. In relationships, he's on point. This guy has everything. Are there people in your life that it looks like they have everything sorted? Yes. In fact, some people say, how do people, everybody does like this person? How? You know why? We call that a performance. The person is performing at a max level. But it's performing at a max level because the person is simply drawing from his or her natural potential. We all have the potential to perform at the max level. However, we have gone through experiences in life that become interferences. E.g., your teacher says you, now your time they go university, see your head. That statement becomes an interference. So you write jam, they didn't pick you. You now say, maybe I should just do polio. They already said I won't do university. It's an interference. Somebody says, your type, don't you see that all your mates are married? I don't think you will ever marry. Mom, interference. You were raped, interference. Molested, interference. Sacked from a job can become an interference. Any life experience, if not properly handled, can become an interference. Not because in itself it has the power, but because you've admitted to it. At the moment you've admitted to an interference, your potential will not show again. So we tell people, don't create any potential. You already have it. Identify what's interfering in your potential and minimize it, which is what we do in our class. Identifying your interference and helping you to work at it. Any fear is an interference. Any fear. In class, we tell people, fear is not false evidences appearing real. You know why? Because your fear is triggered by a real incident that you have mapped to. That incident is not fake. It's not false. There is a typical example. You saw an accident incident and you saw that overspeeding kills. Reality is that if I overspeed I will have such a tragedy. So you're afraid of speeding to a particular level or speedometer or something. It's not false, it's real. So most times people need to understand that everything we do is rooted in a belief. So number one, I said preserve yourself. Number two, I said preserve people, preserve others. Number three, how many of you, let's take an honest vote. When we're living here, you are the last person in this room, what will you do? Let me take 3 volunteers. As we've closed, we're all going out, filing out. You are the last person to leave this room. What are the likely things you will do? Man? Read the things on the wall, okay? Then do what? Switch off the lights. Turn off the ACs.
I'm just confirm I didn't leave anything behind.
You confirm if you didn't leave anything behind?
Close the door.
Close the door. Yes, bro? You just walk out. Bam. Is that what? You go to a bar. You go to a bar. Interesting. Why did I ask this question? Earlier this week, I can't remember which of the days, I closed from work and I was going downstairs and I saw a wrap of biscuit on the staircase. I passed it. I came back, picked it up. I didn't feel like, can I just leave this thing here? And I left. So now when I took it, I didn't find the dustbin. So I couldn't find where to drop it. I held it in my hand until I found a place where I could drop it off. A test of your emotional intelligence is that anywhere you step in, you own it.
Yeah, that's true.
Anywhere you step in, you own it. So it is easy for us to hear of billions of dollars in one Igoya apartment. Because when they own the job, when they get into the job, they don't own it. They don't see it as far as I'm here, this is my God-given role to do the best I can do. It's just, it's my turn. It's my turn for my generation, nothing else. Anywhere you step in, own it. If you work in a school, it's your school. If you work in a factory, it's your factory. If you live in a neighborhood, it's your neighborhood. If you attend a church, it's your church. The moment you step into your mosque, it's your mosque. Anywhere you enter, it's you that owns it. If you act that way, it's what we call earth preserving. Earth preserving. Yes, my NLP people, ecology. Earth preserving, earth preservation. You take it upon yourself that anywhere I find myself is not an accident. And for as long as I'm in that environment, my role to preserve the environment will be active. This is a very spiritual instruction. And you need to understand it. Everything you do comes back to you. If you can develop capacity to satisfy these 3 conditions, you will find out that you are consistently humane, consistently loved, consistently productive, consistently growing. Try it. These 3 conditions, if they are met, anyone that fails, your EI is in question. If these 3 are met, you will find that something about you is making progress. How many of you have these flyers? There's the second one. The Ashley flyers. You have two each, right?
Yeah.
2 each? Just one? There are 2 different designs. Please, let's have the other one. Because you came here today, because you chose to come for this free class, we have secured 50% of this for you. Attendance is free, but to take a stand, ASNE is the annual School Needs Expo. It's an exhibition that runs every year, and this year is going to hold at the BMO Event Center. It's holding May, what's the date again? May 18th and 19th or something. I think it's on the second flyer.
We have just one.
Please, it's going around now. He's sharing it. So if you've got, especially for schools, you've got a school, you need to come take advantage of the opportunities at the expo. and buy as much resources for your school. If you're a business owner that talks to schools, this is a place you should be. You should go and share and sell your stuff because you're going to have massive traffic. We have, to the information I have, there are about 1,500 signed up buyers. So you have direct access to 1,500 buyers. You have access to 7 embassies that are coming to showcase their culture. So this is a good place for visibility for you. The least you should do is to sign up. And because you're here, we've been able to get a gracious 50% discount on all stands for those who are interested in taking. Don't we deserve a clap for that? It is free to attend. So please feel free, if you have any more inquiries to make, contact Sandra, who is on the sales desk outside, and you can get more information. Now, we've also talked about, let me take out this. Thank you. We've talked about some things. I would like to show you